All hail! Sam Hinkie, all hail! Bow your heads to the great Sam Hinkie, all hail! Kyle Gaffner is here. I am Adrian Fedke. We are here to talk Sam Hinkie. Bryan Colangelo might want to kick him out of town and pretend he never existed, but we're not going to be like that today. So, in the end, 5 years from now, what do you think Sam Hinkie's legacy going to be? I don't even know if I just said, I totally just butchered that, but what's his legacy going to be like?
It all depends, honestly, if it's a fail, honestly, because if it turns out to be the greatest thing that ever happened to us, you know who's going to get the credit. It's going to be Colangelo. Oh, Jerry did this and Bryan did that, and Hinkie's going to get the shit end of the stick. So I think if it does become a success, it's definitely Hinkie's. It's Hinkie's doing. I mean, he wheeled and dealed us into this position. So I think of what he's done, he has put us in the best possible position to make this club as good as it could be. I mean, there's nothing else you could do.
The entire premise of the process is to get star players. And what better star than Ben Simmons? Jesus Christ, this is the whole point of the process is to get a guy like this and bringing him in. Hey, so we'll see how Ben Simmons pans out. But yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
The phenom, the player that hasn't come out since, a la the king. And there hasn't been a player of this type of caliber since LeBron. So, yeah. And if you think about it, a few years ago, we've always been trying to tank for somebody. It was winless for Wiggins. And then it was, who was it last year who that we were trying to fail to get?
D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, we were trying to get D'Angelo Russell. We got Okafor, who wasn't a bad pickup, and then it's, seamless for Simmons that we hope. And then we finally got the top pick, so it was great. And if you think about it, too, we got to thank Joel Embiid for this because, his injury, in fact, put us in the number one spot because if he was healthy, there's no way, I don't think. I think we would have had maybe 32 wins. We would have played ourselves right out of the top pick, even though, the lottery set up to the worst record doesn't get the top pick, but it just so happened to fall the right way like it should in every other sport.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Bryan Colangelo appeared on, what did he appeared on? He appeared on, I believe, Sirius XM radio, and he said basically that the process is over. It's dead. It's time for the progress. So here is his quote. He says, everybody is thinking about winning as opposed to prolonging the rebuilding process. We're really moving from that rebuilding and stripping down to a building process. We're going to do things that put us in a position to win basketball games more so than collect future assets. So it takes a little subtle jab at Samuel there. Thoughts on that comment?
It's like, thank you for stating the obvious. Like, we didn't know that. The great mastermind, Bryan Colangelo. No shit, bro. Like, thank you. How would you have handled what Sam came into, honestly? I want to know what people would have done. I honestly think Colangelo would have came in here, not drafted the best player. He would have just spent a ton of money on a bunch of overrated players or over-the-hill guys and just barely got us to the playoffs. We were in mediocrity for how long? We were mediocre. So the best thing to do was strip down the team, get as many draft picks as possible because look at all the talent that we're going to accumulate and that we have accumulated over the years. So he's taking a jab at Hinkie, and I hate all these people. Oh, he's not a basketball mind, and he's not this. He's an analytics guy. Well, he got great value for what we have had. Drew Holiday for the 2 picks for Noel that turned into Noel. He had an injury-riddled career so far, hasn't done anything. MCW, we got a top 3 pick for, top 5 pick for the next couple of years. I mean, great moves. Thank you, Sam. You are a genius, literally.
I mean, the ownership group, they just gave up on the guy. And, now we got Bryan Colangelo in here. But talking about, Hinkie here, because, in that comment, Colangelo talks about, takes that jab at him, we're not here to collect future assets anymore. Well, the day before Sam Hinkie resigned, he appeared on the Zach Lowe podcast. And he was talking, about basically what Colangelo was saying. He said, he wanted to be player this year in free agency during the summer. And let's see if I can find that quote from him as well. I don't know if I can find it. I may not be able to find it. You go talk. I'll try to find this quote because I had it.
Okay.
Here we go. Never mind. Go.
Yeah, so basically he was saying what I think he's trying to do is saying the process is dead. He's kind of like extinguishing Sam Hinkie as a whole, as a person, and then them trying to say like they're trying to play like they're the good guys. Oh, we'll keep you on, Sam, because what you have done. I honestly think they just offered him that position knowing that he was going to deny it because he was kind of, in the back seat or in the back of the group at that point with the position that they offered. The process is dead. It's like he's putting his imprint on the team now. Like, you just swooped in and stole everything that Hinkie just did. Like, it's awful, man. Like, the process is dead. Now, what did he say? We're proceeding with, what was his quote? We're
proceeding with, where is it?
Oh, it's we're at a progress or something. I mean,
we're really moving from that rebuilding and stripping down to a building process.
Yeah, a process. You're just stripping down everything that he just did. You're squashing them. I mean, people that were still in support of Hinkie after he got fired, he was kicking people out of the stadium at that point that were wearing Hinkie supporter shirts. I mean, the dude is just a complete hater, but he'll get all the credit for it, and it's a shame because Sam Hinkie, we've said it again and again, deserves everything. And I'm a huge Hinkie supporter. So, it's just what is going to happen. Look what he did with the Raptors. Where is this guy's track record? You're going off what your daddy did. So your daddy got you this job. So, what is going to happen? You didn't really make great decisions when you were with Toronto. So, it kind of scares me a bit what he's going to do with our organization. We've got all this free cap space. We've got the number one pick. What is he going to do? He took Andrea Bargnani over LaMarcus Aldridge. Imagine what that team would have been if they would have taken him. So it brings into question, is Simmons the sure number one pick? God, man, who knows? He could take Buddy Hield with the number one pick. Who knows what this guy's thinking?
Yeah, I think it'll be Simmons. I don't think he's that dumb, but who the hell knows? But here's the quote that I was trying to find. I couldn't find before, but basically, again, he just talks about how they're going to be free agent. They were going to be players in free agency. He goes, "I think we'll be more aggressive this summer than we have in the past. We may end up going out and spending 10 times or 15 times more than we have in the last 3 years combined." So that was his quote. And you reference, Colangelo spending that money, just spending it just kind of carelessly a little bit, because the Sixers, they have about $60 million in cap space. The salary cap this summer projected to be $92 million. So there's a lot of cap space to work with. But the problem with Colangelo, he's not exactly known as being a patient guy. So he tries to, he tries to win now. He tries to make the big moves during free agency. And a lot of them never really panned out in Toronto. Hedo Turkoglu did not pan out, gave him a big contract. They gave Landry Fields a contract.
Ugh.
He didn't turn out to be anything. He also gave Linus Kleza a contract.
I remember that guy.
Last time you heard that name. So, so he throws this big money at players that really don't deserve it. And I'm a little bit concerned. $60 million to work with. I mean, you're going to be just throwing max contracts to guys that really don't deserve it. What are you going to do? Throw a max contract at what? Fucking Kent Bazemore?
Yeah, something like that. Or, injury-riddled Bradley Beal, I could see him doing that, And that's what I'm so afraid of him doing, because he wants to accelerate this process to an extent, and you're not taking the right steps. Like, if you just take it slowly, I mean, this is the best job to have in the whole NBA. You know how many GMs were probably salivating to get this job with the cap space accessibility and all the assets and draft picks we have for the next couple years? I mean, it's like a GM's wet dream. So, let's just hope he doesn't give max deals to these guys, and you give it to guys that are deserving, like a Harrison Barnes as such. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, let's go after KD. We're not getting Kevin Durant. He's not going to want to come here, you know. It's just not going to happen. That's just a pipe dream. So get guys that you can help your team build it around, because you build through the draft. That's how you get your superstars. Look what OKC did. They weren't always the greatest Supersonics. They went from, you know, worst to first over the, you know, past couple of years. And I think that's what we're going to do. I think that's the step Sam was trying to, you know, to take before he got booted out.
Yeah, and, you know, we have $60 million, a lot of money to spend. But, you know, just because you have all that money doesn't mean you have to spend it all at once. And, you know, I think next year's free agency class is actually probably better than this one. We're going to do a show later, though, where we kind of talk about some free agents. But, you know, DeMar DeRozan's been a popular name that people like to talk about. Bradley Beal's the other one because he's a shooter. You know, Harrison Barnes, you mentioned that name. So, but that's for another show. Now, you brought up Oklahoma City, and when you thought of the process, you know, in the beginning stages, you were like, well, they were building to become just like OKC. And, well, you look back at when they were the Seattle Supersonics. They go 51-31 in 2006, 2007. They get the second pick in the draft. Obviously, that leads to them getting Kevin Durant, second overall. The next year, they go 20-62. So they obtain the fourth pick in the draft. That led to Russell Westbrook. Got taken right after O.J. Mayo. Oh, man, O.J. Mayo at third overall. Everyone thought he was going to be the greatest thing, and he didn't really turn out to be anything. And Westbrook is a top 5 player in the NBA. Next year, 08-09, they go 23-59. They got the third pick in the draft. They take James Harden. So you get that trio, Durant, Westbrook, Harden. You go 31-51, 20-62, 23-59. And then all of a sudden, 2009, 2010, you go 50-32, a 27-win improvement from the year before. So in the 3 years after that, you lose in the first round of the playoffs. Then they go to the Western Conference Finals, and then they make it to the NBA Finals. So a quick turnaround. And, you know, now that we get Ben Simmons, this is that third year now that we're getting that draft pick. So do you see the Sixers kind of making that jump like OKC did?
It all depends on the health of Embiid, to tell you the truth. If he's healthy, then yes, because the 3 draft picks that we have taken, you know, I think are going to be stellar, and they're building blocks. Now, what I think they might do is, since we're a little logjam, as we've talked before, get rid of Okafor and bring in another young piece. Can you imagine if they took a Simmons and an Ingram in this draft? I mean, you would have a healthy Embiid. You know, mind you, this is if he's healthy. I know a lot of people are screaming, you know, he hasn't played a minute on the court, stepped on the court. And if you get rid of Okafor, then you have a hole there. But you kind of can't really base off it, because I think Okafor has a lot of value right now. So you can't get it all in one draft that we've seen. I think maybe one more year, but if we get the Simmons and then a healthy Embiid, we're going to take off. We could go 30, 35 wins, 40 wins, and that's a playoff spot in the East. I mean, that's a huge step. So, yes, to answer your question.
Yeah, the 8th seed this year was Detroit. They went 44-38. And you look at, you know, we just went over the standings there of Oklahoma City at that 27-win improvement. So if you look at a 27-win improvement, that's 37-45 for Philadelphia. That could possibly be a playoff spot. Who the hell knows? The Eastern Conference is a little bit more watered down, obviously, than the West. So 37 wins might be possible. Hey, who knows? Maybe they can get to 40. Who knows? But
that's a step in the right direction, though, for me. I would be happy with that, even if we don't make the playoffs. If we bang out 30, 32 wins, that's okay.
Oh, if we get over 30, I'm happy.
Yeah, so would I. And that's the other thing I meant to say. You got to hit on your picks. OKC obviously have a great staff. Hit on all their picks. 2 top 5 players. Actually, 3 top 5 players if you consider James Harden that they traded away. So you have to hit on your picks too. So, but the guys, I think, I mean, Embiid has got extreme talent, and whether we take Ingram or Simmons, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do think, yeah, we're another year away. I don't think we're a playoff team this year, even though Charles Barkley seems to think we might be able to make the postseason. But yeah, I mean, if we get over 30, I mean that's an improvement in itself. Get the young pups going, get them getting that winning culture again a little bit in Philly. So no more 10-win seasons.
No, and I think that's a thing of the past, and that's why I just wish Hinkie would have been able to see his plan out as opposed to the third year. I think people thought in the organization that he was going to tank another year, and this is just was going to be a continuous wheel of gaining assets and not getting actual players to play on the court. That he was just a pick hoarder and just putting D2 players out there and stacking up on money. So we'll have to see what happens. I'm so excited. It's just exciting to be a Sixers fan nowadays. Anything could happen. I definitely think we're going to trade up in the top 5 pick, though, to get another one of these players. Now, it comes into question. I have a question for you. Do you think this is smart to get all these assets? Because not everybody's going to be able to get paid, you got to think. So are they going to start wheeling and dealing some of these younger guys to get some vets in? Because all their contracts are going to be up at the same time. So
that's a good point. You're not going to be able to pay everybody. I mean, Nerlens Noel is that first guy that's, eventually he's going to become a free agent. You can't keep everybody. I mean, obviously OKC didn't. They went and they traded James Harden instead of, letting him walk, and they really didn't get much back for him. Jeremy Lamb was kind of that centerpiece in that package and didn't really pan out was anything.
No, he wasn't. So, and that's a shame because I thought Jeremy Lamb was a pretty good player, and I wish he would have taken off. But he could be a late bloomer. You never know. But I hope they just make the right decisions on paying these guys and keeping the right guys. So there's a lot to think about, wheeling and dealing if you do get rid of Okafor, because a lot of people seem to think that he's on the way out of Philly.
We got a lot of heat last week for saying that we were going to trade Okafor. But people were like, well, why don't we wait until we see what we have with Embiid?
Interesting. But you can't rely on Embiid. That's the thing. But sometimes you got to take risks in life, and that's the whole great.
That's where I'm at. Yeah. To me, it's like I see it. I don't know why other people don't see it, but Okafor does not fit what we want to do. You cannot play Okafor and Noel together, or even Okafor and Embiid together.
No,
you can't do it. Noel is not the guy you trade here because he's the guy that's going to defend the rim. Okafor, I mean, Embiid's going to be able to defend a little bit. Okafor can't defend at all.
No,
really.
He can't rebound either.
Yeah, he's only averaging 7 rebounds a game. So really, all he can do is he's got all those low post moves. He's a slightly overrated, to be honest with you. I mean, he's a great player, obviously, but I think Sixers fans are thinking he's this elite top 10 player, potentially. I don't see it that way necessarily. And and again, going back to the style thing, we're going to be playing pace and space. And Ben Simmons, I mean, he's going to be grabbing defensive rebounds, running up and down the floor, and Okafor's not even going to make it past half court.
He's going to be wheezing. He's just not in shape. He can't play with Ben Simmons. He can't play with Noel. He can't even play with Ingram. The guy just does not fit the system.
He doesn't.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, he does. I mean, he's an asset. I mean, that's the whole thing of drafting him. I mean, yeah, he was the best player available. Mm-hmm. But the intention was not that they were never, not going to keep him or whatever. But we knew that this was potentially going to happen at some point. One of these forwards, you got to get rid of one of them, and Okafor is the guy that just feels like he's going to be the one left out. I mean, again, everyone kind of wants Noel to be that guy, but I think because of his defensive prowess, that's why you kind of keep him. Even though he's going to be that first free agent, so to speak. But, I understand the people, Embiid and whatever, but I really like some of these guards this year. I mean, the guards are really good next year too, but but then again, these are all high school seniors right now. We really don't know what you're going to see as a freshman. I mean, Scalabissiere was supposed to be a top 2 pick, and shit, he didn't do shit in Kentucky. So it's a risk all the way around. I am in favor of trading Okafor. I think Jamal Murray or Chris Dunn or Buddy Hield, even though they may not be as talented as Okafor is, I still think the trade is worth it because of need and the fact that in our style of play, Okafor really doesn't fit.
No, you got to take the risk, and you got to strike while the iron is hot. He's young. He averaged a pretty good point percentage, and he's only going to get better with his post moves.
Yeah,
I'm enamored by his post moves are incredible, and he's only going to get better. So this would be the perfect time to get rid of him and get the best value out of him. Kind of like the Phillies did with Ken Giles,
Yeah.
Get rid of him while you can. Get the most for him.
Great example, actually. It really is. I mean, and who knows? Maybe you can get more than just the 3rd pick from the Celtics. Maybe you can even pluck. I don't know. I mean, not that I'm a Marcus Smart fan or anything, but like pluck a guy like that.
Yeah, they could throw him in, or like a R.J. Hunter that they took last year or the year before that, or a Terry Rozier. I mean, you could definitely get maybe something else out of it. We could throw in one of our first-round picks. I don't think we're going to use all 3 of them either. I think those are also moving pieces and chips to use to either trade up or do something with. I mean, they've got a bounty of picks from the Nets, so they're in a great position to improve their team, but they need a center. It just fits, and people say you don't trade to your rival. Well, I don't think it's really going to matter when the new playoff system comes around next year. It's going to be the best 5 or 6, or the best, I think, 8 teams.
Yeah.
So division doesn't matter anymore. Trade them. Who cares? I don't really care about that. Everybody, they're our rivals. We've been bitter rivals for the longest time. Who cares? Trade them. Get what they have.
If it improves your team, yeah, who cares? It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. If he drops 25 on us and 14 every year, so be it. It's the risk you have to take.
Yeah. Now, I don't want it to make it sound like, we're not Okafor fans. I mean,
no.
We like Okafor.
I'm a huge Okafor fan.
Yeah. It's just I think Sixers fans overrate him. I just think they've seen such a bad product over the last couple of years. They see someone that's actually kind of good, and they just simply overrate him. I think that's what's going on here. I don't think he's ever going to be a top 10 player, but I do like him.
He's going to be, I think, an all-star a couple times throughout his career, but he's not going to be, I don't think he'll be a Hall of Famer or a top 3 dominant center like a Shaq or, Hakeem Olajuwon or somebody of that nature, but he'll be a solid player throughout his NBA career. But and you got to think his numbers were kind of inflated because he was on a bad team. He was taking how many shots? He was the centerpiece. So I feel like a lot of us fans get attached to our home teams, so we kind of overrate players sometimes. That's nothing wrong with that, but you got to do what's best for the team. You have to have an outside view, look outside of the box.
I have learned how to not be biased for a while now, and sometimes people don't like to hear it. I've been talking about the Eagles all offseason. I don't think we're that good of a team. So people are optimistic. Some people think, we can win 9-10 games, and I'm like, well, I think we're going 6-10, and they don't like to hear it.
Hey, you just got to call it how you see. People aren't going to like what you say anyway, so it is what it is.
It is what it is. Something else I want to talk about real quick. Just the reason. One of the reasons why this is like off topic now. This is something else, but one of the main reasons why we had all that cap space. People were like, well, it's because we were tanking, all that. We didn't want to sign free agents for that reason. That necessarily wasn't the case, because what Hinkie did with all that money, well, what happened? Maintaining financial flexibility, he assumed the contract liabilities from other teams to acquire picks and prospects. And, that's kind of how he used the money. So you brought in, bloated contracts like a JaVale McGee, and you got a first-round pick out of it. Look at what he did with the fucking Kings. They stole Nick Stauskas, future first-round pick. You got the swap of picks. I mean,
incredible.
Yeah. So it's the reason why it's not because they were trying to be bad necessarily. It's because they were trying to acquire assets. So you take on contracts and you get assets. That's what they did.
It is, and it's great. I think it's brilliant. It's great analytics. You got MCW. You traded MCW, who was Rookie of the Year, who a lot of people liked, and you got that Laker pick. Like, what a move! And look what he's done with the Bucks. Like, to be able to see that and we've won, in my opinion, in all those trades that we made. We didn't really lose out on any of them.
Drew Holiday for Noel, and what ended to be Saric, right?
Yep, Doris Arch, and we got our pick back from that awful Bynum trade in that trade as well, when we traded Elfrid Payton to the Magic. So we got Saric and our first-round pick back in 2017. So he took what was a bad situation from what Dougie did and what I think it was Leo, the GM at the time, completely dismantled, and it put us in such a hole and dug us out and put us in the right direction. Yeah, I can't say enough about him.
Yeah. So, now we got Bryan Colangelo, and I'll tell you what, I did some research and just, looked at some message boards in the past about, when Colangelo was there in Toronto, and Raptors fans did not like him at all. They could not wait until he was gone. The big thing he did with Toronto, he drafted DeMar DeRozan. That's, that was his thing. They kind of lucked into Kyle Lowry. But as I mentioned before, man, a lot of bad contracts that he gave out. Linus Kleza, Hedo Turkoglu, and Landry Fields. That's just ew.
And you're right. So that kind of dampens what he did. He hit on one of those draft picks because the Raptors were bad for a while, too, after Vince Carter had left. He hit on one of those guys. I mean, Terrence Ross.
Jermaine O'Neal was another one. I just thought of that.
Who?
Jermaine O'Neal.
Oh, yeah, I completely forgot about that. The man has just shelled out money like it was Tic Tacs. It's very scary. So I don't blame the Raptors fans for hating him because they did luck out in the Kyle Lowry. But they are a very good team now. So hopefully he can do with that. We just got to wait and see. Hopefully he just doesn't make that Andrea Bargnardi, LaMarcus Aldridge decision again. Hopefully it just doesn't bite us in the ass, which I'm afraid it might.
I mean, I think he drafts okay. I think his drafting is okay, besides the Bargnani thing. I mean, he did draft Sean Marion, so, he had that work. I believe he drafted Steve Nash, too. Then he traded him to Dallas, and they got him back. Or I forget.
Flip-flopped. He was with Dallas, and they signed him to the Suns.
Yeah, so there you go. So
his dad was there when he was with the Suns, so I can't really give him credit for that. He was off on his own when he was with the Raptors, so I feel like that kind of better illustrates his resume. Because when he was with the Suns, they were great for a good while, the Maury and Steve Nash and Sean Marion. But his dad was helping him out there. So, hopefully Jerry is in his ear now.
Well, the one thing I saw they did in Phoenix the one year, I don't know why they did this. I don't know, maybe because they were like a contender. They didn't have money or anything. But they drafted Luol Deng, I believe like 7th or 9th. I forget what position it was at. But they drafted Luol Deng, and they traded him to Chicago for a second-round pick and cash. So, I mean, I don't know what that was all about, but
they missed out on a good player right there.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was for flexibility to get a player maybe in free agency, kind of like what they did this year by getting rid of one of the Twins to sign LaMarcus Aldridge. Maybe it was a money move. I mean, we will not know what's going through Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde right there.
So, I mean, we'll see what he does this offseason. I mean, like I said, I don't want to get too much into the free agency thing because I don't want to waste that show yet. So we'll just kind of keep silent on that. But, no, we won't say anything because there is a guy that we like, but we're not going to say his name yet.
Lips sealed. Hopefully Brian likes him as much too. But you got to build through the draft. That is the way you have to do it. Follow OKC's plan. So this is what we had to do. I'm in complete support. I am excited to be the Sixers fans. I mean, sky is the limit with this right now. You got to be optimistic. There's no way you can be pessimistic about this.
Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, definitely. Moving forward. You're a ticket holder, so that is just finally looking up for you. going to all those games over the last couple of years. Jeez.
It has been rough, but this is what I envision happening: them building and getting better, and I'm excited because it's brimmed to the point where I can finally have watch a winning product on the court and go down there and have somebody to cheer for. Because I think we're going to get our potential superstar with this number 1 pick via Simmons or Ingram.
Yeah. So all of a sudden you're going to have Simmons on this team. I'm saying Simmons just because it seems like he's going to be the guy. I know you keep saying or Ingram, but I have already 100%. It's Ben Simmons.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It could be Ingram. I don't know.
I would be very disappointed at this point if it's Ingram.
I would not. It's very.
Well, I know you like him, so
I'm a supporter. I'm over more about Ingram than I am Simmons.
I know you are. We had that show last week.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So basically, I was gonna say, you're gonna have Simmons out there. You're gonna have Saric. You're gonna have Embiid. You're gonna have Noel. I mean, all this talent now, and Okafor, maybe who knows? We'll trade him. Who knows? But all of a sudden, all this talent on the floor. It's so refreshing.
It's blossom in the sea, and we got to get some vets in here too to help these kids out because there's going to be some growing pains.
Don't sign like Evan Fournier to a max contract. Don't do anything like that.
No, I don't want that. Or make another silly decision like taking Evan Turner over Boogie Cousins. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Evan Turner.
Yeah, that's what kind of scares me because he's got a lot.
Free agent.
Yeah, let's go get him, right?
Max contract.
He's a beast. Let's go out and get him. Bring him back to Philly. I love him. Great.
The other thing about this offseason, the cap space is at $92 million. 2/3 of the NBA can give a max contract to a player, and that actually kind of hurts us because
yes, it does.
Yeah, because we're not exactly a sexy destination right now for free agents.
We are not a desirable team for a very good player or a superstar to even come in. No, we're not. So we're going to have to sway them by showing them. That's where Colangelo is going to have to come in and do some wheeling, dealing, and talking them and convincing them to envision and see what this process is going to become.
Yeah.
So, I know Sam would have the progress. I'm sorry. Sam would have had that in the bag, no problem. But Colangelo, it's not the greatest wordsmith. I feel like they're going to come in and meet him and be like, "Yeah, I'm not playing for this dude." Especially if he was hated up in Toronto.
We'll see what happens. I mean, but hey, maybe he'll surprise us. Who knows? I guess we'll get out of here right now. Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I cannot wait for this draft. I can't talk about it enough. I know we're going to take Ingram and trade Okafor. I can't say it enough. I'm just excited to be a Sixers fan. I can't wait for the draft. We're going to go to that draft party. It's going to be awesome. We're going to get another point guard in here. I just can't. I'm just excited. Sports are back. We've got the Phillies playing well. We've got, excitement with the Eagles, the Flyers. We've got a lot of young stars coming up, too. And the Sixers, the lowly, dreadly team that nobody thought would become anything, finally have the top pick, and we could have a potential superstar.
City of winners, baby.
Winners.
Winners.
We need another chip in here. We're still going off that 2008 World Series. I mean, bring one home. I got to see an NBA championship. I have to.
Well, we did have a chip in here, and we got rid of him.
That's true. Thank God for that.
Well, that's another subject for another day. I actually was against firing Chip Kelly, but we don't need to discuss that right now. I am like the only guy in Philadelphia that didn't like the move to fire him, but I digress. We went from him to fucking Doug Peterson. I mean,
yeah, it's not a good transition.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I dream about what Chip Kelly could have done with Carson Wentz.
I don't think too much, man, because you're gonna see what he's gonna do with Blaine Gabbert out there and/or Kaepernick.
Well, I mean, they both stink. Carson Wentz is nothing.
True. Well, I feel like you even gave him a Mariota, he wouldn't be able to do anything. But that's a whole
dude, he's a fucking quarterback whisperer. He's amazing with quarterbacks. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he did a great job with Sam Bradford there.
Sam Bradford fucking sucks. That's see, just because that was fucking dumb to bring him in, but whatever. All right. My final thought. I don't know if I really have one. I don't have one. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. All hail.
All hail. Thank you, Sammy. Come back to us.
Yeah. As you can see, I wish I had like toned biceps like our co-host Jeremy there at the Better Birds. I'm pasty as fuck. Look at that. Damn. God.
Well, there's not much sun out there, so it's not your fault.
Oh, man. All right, yeah, we're ending it. For Kyle Gaffner, I'm Adrian Fedq. We'll see what happens in a couple months. I hope you don't fuck it up there, Brian, but we'll see. We're out. Later.
Peace.